Hey, what's good, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you are watching and listening to a brand new episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And joining me, as always, are my co-hosts Rebellious D and Trav. How you fellas doing today?
I'm doing great.
Pretty good, man.
Fantastic. I couldn't be better tonight.
That's right. That's right.
Me either. Hey, I'm smiling from ear to ear right now. And, you know, we have a very special guest joining us. This woman, she terrified us when we were kids, and she also made us love her when she lent her voice to Genkai on Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yep.
And that is Mrs. Linda Young. How you doing today, Miss Young?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Yeah,
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. This is such an honor. Like I said, before we started recording, we've been fans for years. Like, we grew up, listening to your voice. Like, you're the voice that carried a whole generation, and even moving forward to a new generation of fans. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Sure. I like all your collections there, and
thank you.
You've got. I see you've even got my pictures up on screen there.
Hey, that's what we do here, Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. I have all the photo slideshow going on, and then of course, because we have the voice actor of Frieza up here, I had to bring my Frieza collectibles, and I even got the Dragon Ball Z shirt on. Like I said, huge fans. I just wish that there was more Genkai stuff, because when you think about Genkai, she was just as big of a character as Frieza, and she really doesn't have that much stuff out there.
I know, that's true. Maybe it seems like Yu Yu Hakusho has been making a comeback lately.
Yeah, they finally
so maybe
got some
there
pops.
will be more. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I wish there would be pops of Genkai.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So they're just not getting pops for that show?
No, they have
2
pops.
years ago.
Oh, that's still wow.
Yeah, but before we get into today's interview, make sure that you like this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks.
D?
Right.
You gotta tell them.
Hey, podcast in the description. Check us out.
Right.
There we go. So, let's go ahead and get into it. So, Mrs. Young, something that we do here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks, we have all of our guests tell everybody that's watching and listening their origin story. So tell everybody, who is Linda Young?
Who am I?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, boy. I think I'm just kind of a practical person. I like other people.
Nice.
I like making people smile.
Hey, we're all smiling right now.
Oh,
That's right,
yeah.
all day.
That's right. That's right.
I can be kind of shy as myself sometimes until I really know people. But when I'm characters, I'm not shy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's one of the reasons I became an actor. From a young age, I just like pretending that I was other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I like dogs. I love my family. I love God. So I'm from Wisconsin. I'm practical.
Nice.
What can I say?
Nice.
I'm a Midwest girl.
Like
Nice. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Now, I know you said that you had got into acting. Was that the first step before you got into voice acting? And when you did get into acting, like, what were some of the projects that you acted in?
Okay, when I first got into acting, it was theater, stage, and even when I was a kid, I used to write plays and we performed them in the neighborhood. And then in school, I started getting in the plays, and then I went to college and majored in theater arts and communications and minored in music because I'm a singer also.
Nice.
And
I saw that.
I worked at radio station, advertising agency, and then I got an agent and just started doing commercials, radio commercials, TV commercials, little parts in TV shows or films that were around Dallas. Industrials, they called them, that were for companies, print work, any kind of work, live shows, any kind of work I could do, and a lot of singing. So, and then I didn't get into anime till one of my friends told me she saw an ad in the paper that a company was looking for some characters for some kind of, she said something like a cartoon, and wanted me to go along with her, and I almost didn't.
Wow. Yeah,
but then I did, because she talked me into it. So
Right.
I have her to thank.
What were you thinking though? Like, what was making you decide, nah, I don't want to do that?
Well, it was just a day I was just kind of relaxing at home. I wasn't, I didn't take a shower. I was just kind of a grub.
I know how that can be.
And then she said, "Oh, come on, we'll go to lunch. We'll do this. We'll have fun." And she talked me into it, and I'm glad she did.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, it made you a household name. It's interesting. All of the voice actors and actresses that we have that come up here, they always tell us that theater was what kind of, helped them get into voice acting. And, it just goes a long way to show you that, to everybody that's listening and watching that, if you're young, get in the theater. Get in the theater when you're young.
Yes, do.
Or if you're already in theater.
Yeah. Or,
tell them
that.
Yeah. Like hone your craft, because you never know where it's going to take you. And
that's right.
When it comes to voice acting work, that's one of the things, because theater is like you're acting. So it's kind of like you're already learning to, when you do want to get into voice acting, or if you want to become an actor or actress, and, put yourself out there, like it really does help. So I wanted
it definitely does. Every voice actor I know was in plays. They were in plays, and it's just because voice acting is acting,
right?
You're just not seen.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you don't get the feedback from another actor, which is kind of hard. Makes it a little harder. But you definitely, if anyone wants to get in voice work, do theater, do any kind of acting, actually.
Yep.
Any kind of acting helps.
Everything helps.
It does. Yeah.
What drew you to theater, though? From such a young age? Like, what was it about theater?
Gee, I think even as a little kid, I don't know why, but I just liked performing, and I loved old movies. Like the old glamorous actresses.
Right.
I just loved it. I loved piano from, I think I made up a song when I was about 4 years old and played by ear. And then later I took lessons, and one of my teachers said, "You just need to keep playing by ear."
Yeah. Hey, that song we say to this day.
She said, "You're making up your own rhythms." And so.
Now, something I wanted to ask you, because you said that you were doing radio broadcasting. We had Kyle Abear up here before, and that was something that he did as well, was radio broadcasting. So would you say that like being in radio, does that help as well when it comes to getting into voice acting?
It did help me, because when I was in radio, I did copywriting and voiced commercials. So a lot of times I would write commercials that had several characters.
Nice.
So I could play different characters.
Oh, yeah.
And and singing jingles and things like that.
Nice.
So,
like you said, you love to sing.
Yeah. So it helped a lot. The radio helped a lot. Everything, anything with acting.
Yep. Every little bit. I know, Miss Young, that a lot of our guests that we have on, they all, some of them, at least I think 3 that we've had on so far, have mentioned the fact that they still use hand gestures and things like that while reading scripts and kind of acting it out, not really just standing there. And it's something that was an adjustment. Was that an adjustment to you to just kind of be less active in the booth and just kind of read?
I probably don't use my hand gestures and things as much as others. Like my son does. My son is John Bergmeyer.
Oh, we know.
We know. You hear Trav? Yeah, we know.
We know.
He when he's in there, if he does. That helps him be the character by doing what they're doing, kind of. He likes to do that. I do I'll feel myself moving or something,
Right.
you know, but I don't really use a lot of hand gestures. But I don't think I do when I talk a lot.
Yeah.
I
Right.
don't
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes because it's like I want to say it was on Batman the animated series, like Mark Hamill when he would get
Yeah.
into the booth, like he would be very animated with his hands, and like Dee was saying, like some of the guests that we've had up here before, it's like they say that being really animated, just like how you said with your son John, it's just like it really draws out the expressions, because sometimes
Yes.
I feel like when you're talking, because I mean I'm doing it right now, but sometimes it's like when you're talking, I feel like everybody can do it, but some people can't, where it's just like when they're talking, like how you just said, it's just like you're in the booth, like you can deliver your lines perfectly, you don't need to be animated. But for some people it can be difficult for them to just be sitting there and like trying to deliver their lines, and just being more animated, it helps them give more expression to the characters that they're
It does. You're right. And I think what I do is I picture myself that I am the character. And so I'm picturing myself that I'm them. So I'm kind of doing everything they're doing
Right.
by watching them.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I don't
No,
know
it
if that
does.
makes sense. But
So
yeah.
So you're telling me when you were voicing Frieza and when you killed Krillin, it's just like, yeah, that's me killing Krillin.
Oh,
Yeah.
stop.
Well, I was Frieza killing Krillin.
Right.
But
Exactly.
I actually didn't like it. I mean, I remember I had to stop and go, what?
Oh man.
What?
Mm.
What am I doing? Poor Krillin.
Yeah.
So I had to grieve a little as Linda.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
bet.
yeah.
Miss
But
Young.
then as Frieza, I just went back to up goes the weasel.
Now, Miss Young, I want to piggyback off of the Krillin thing. Did they, when you auditioned, did you know it was a villain, or how much did you know about it?
Not much. They did have some information in the front when you walked in.
Yeah.
And then there were just these different characters with lines. They had sheets that you looked at the lines. And then you went to this other little room and listened to the voices of the Canadian voices, the ocean dub.
Right. The ocean
Yeah, the
dub.
ocean dub, yeah.
And you had to be similar sounding to them because they wanted, when they started recording it in the United States, they didn't want a lot of people to notice that it wasn't in Canada anymore.
Right.
So they wanted the actors to get actors that could sound as much like the Canadian actors. So I was just imitating different voices. And I didn't really know who Frieza was. I didn't really know who any of them were. I mean, I knew they were a little boy or a little girl or a lady, or and Frieza was, I don't know, a thing.
I still think of it like that to this day. I don't even think about it.
So when they called me and said I got Frieza, I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, who's Frieza? Then I found out. Woo!
Now, Miss Young, I gotta ask this question. You said you basically had to listen to a sample and match up and see if you could match up with the Canadian actors. Did Frieza, was any of it, did they say monkey? How many times did they say monkey up there?
You know what? I don't think I said monkey when I auditioned. I think I would have remembered that. All I remember, I don't remember what lines I said when I auditioned. I just remember I had to have that real hoarse voice.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you knocked it out of the park, because hearing Frieza for the first time, and it's like when we first see him, like we're kids, it's just like, okay, this guy, he's not that strong. But then when we see like what he can do, like he was a menace, he was a threat. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, a menace for sure.
Yes. So I wanted to ask you, because you also voice Baba as well.
Yes.
and you also voiced Ariel in Dragon Ball.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Mhm.
So how is it? All right. Sorry, D got disconnected for a second.
Oh,
Oh yeah, sorry, we apologize.
Yeah, we apologize. Sorry.
Remember that question though, Banks.
okay.
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 Let me open that.
Oh, that was that little sound, huh? That went. That
Yep.
was
Yeah.
him getting.
Yeah. But yeah, this has been awesome so far. Thank you again, Mrs. Young.
Yeah, thank you. You guys are fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And yeah, I still got so many questions too, just about because Funimation just wasn't what it is now. Now it's like this big
It's
global
huge.
thing, but I feel like Dragon Ball might have been their first project, so it's like you didn't even know who this company was.
No, they didn't even know. You
Was
know,
it called
I mean,
Funimation when
It was.
It was
called
already?
Funimation.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And then it's just pretty crazy to see it go from where it was to what it is now with the
Yeah, it's crazy because I don't think any of us that were in the show knew it would get so big. You know.
Yeah, a lot of people say that.
Yeah,
I
I don't think so.
Who one of the directors, it was Justin Cook,
Mm-hmm.
talked about that too, where it's like just kind of blows his mind sometimes.
Oh yeah, it does. If you really think about it, it isn't something. I mean, it was just a job we went and did.
Right.
Yeah, a fun job, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying not to like ask questions now. 'Cause
Just relax. Just relax. No, but,
I'll just laugh like Frieza.
yes.
Nah, yeah, I'm just waiting for
But it's-
them.
What a hard voice to do though too. Like
Yeah, well, once I got it placed where it should be, it's not. It's okay. But I think I was probably one of the only people that auditioned that could do that without coughing.
right.
Mm.
Well, it reminds me of Macho Man a little bit.
Hold
where
on,
it's like,
Trav. Hold on. I want to save this for the episode.
Oh.
It's raining here right now.
You know what? That's
What?
wild because it's raining here.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did it just start or has it been?
It's been
It's
on
been off and on all
day.
day.
Oh,
Yeah.
it just kind of started. It'll probably be
Yeah.
thunderstorms.
Now you're still in the Texas area?
Yes,
Okay.
near Dallas. Yeah. I'm surprised I wasn't the one that got disconnected.
Nah,
I usually
sometimes
I usually have problems.
Have you done a lot of the Zoom stuff since this whole pandemic?
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm getting better at figuring out how to do it. Where's that? My dogs. I have 3 dogs.
Ooh.
I
What
know
are
there's
they?
a thunderstorm, and Tiny's my little one's out here like there's a thunderstorm. Papa.
What are they?
A golden retriever.
Oh my, that's my favorite dog. That's my
Oh.
dream dog.
Well, they're sweet. He's
Is he
staring at me too.
Is he grown?
Oh yeah, he's an old guy now.
Yeah.
He's about 12. Then my little one is a Dachshund
Ooh.
Manchester Terrier mix.
Okay.
And then my one that just had knee surgery, he broke a tendon. He's almost 15.
Wow.
He tore a tendon. He is part husky, part lab, and part some kind of terrier.
Because that's my oldest daughter's dream dog is a husky.
Really?
So and
Well-
we've always wanted to have a husky golden retriever mix.
Oh, yes.
Because
That's
they're
kind of almost how
gorgeous.
Buddy is. That's almost how Buddy is.
Is that the
He's,
retriever? Like Air Bud?
Yeah. No,
Oh wow.
my retriever is Baron.
Oh, okay.
Is Baron.
The husky
Buddy's
is
my husky
okay.
lab terrier, and he is a very smart one. Very smart.
Yeah.
Baron, my Goldens always act like la 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 la
Mhm.
because Goldens always have their own plan. They always
Right.
have a better plan. Where like Buddy and Tiny, my other two, they are more apt to learn the rules
Right.
and listen and do it. They'll do it the same way almost each time. But every time Baron wakes up, it's a new day, even whatever hour it is.
Right.
It's a new.
Yeah.
But he's a big sweetheart. He's our fourth golden. We rescued a lot of times. We've rescued older Goldens too
Mhm.
that nobody, wants to care for. So, but Baron we've had 6 years now.
Okay. Yeah, one of our good friends, the McClung family,
Yeah.
they rescue dogs. Like they don't necessarily take in the dogs themselves sometimes, but what they do is like they find places for dogs to be rescued.
Yes. Yeah, that's good.
Now they've taken in dogs before, but
Yes.
they stopped doing it just because the emotional toll it was just kind of taken on.
It
the
is
family.
emotional.
Right.
And sometimes you end up with like Buddy, we actually found,
Right.
and then he ended up staying with us. Tiny, my little one, followed me and Buddy and Baron home, and what do you know? He ended up staying with us. My husband's like, no more dogs.
It makes you wonder though, like what were you doing before you found me?
I know.
I've always, man, I'm a '90s kid, so we grew up with a ton of movies with talking dogs. You
Yes.
hear what they're thinking, and
Yes.
I've just always been obsessed with what is going on with you? Like, what are you thinking?
Oh yeah.
What you been up to?
Sometimes I can tell what they're thinking.
Yeah.
But other times I can't.
Yeah, I really wish, like in cartoons, will they make like a transponder where you can hear the dog when
That'd be great.
it transcodes it.
Like what was that? Brain from Inspector Gadget.
Brain from Inspector Gadget.
Oh,
Yeah, that was awesome.
Mhm.
My husband says, he goes, sometimes I wish they could talk, when they're not
Mhm.
feeling good, they can tell you.
Yeah.
He said, but other times I don't, because a couple of them would never shut up.
It's kind of like Mrs. Young. Have you seen the movie Up?
Yes.
Yeah, remember when they put the voice thing on the dog and he just kept on talking and talking.
Yes. That was a great movie.
Yeah,
That was a good
very
one.
sad. Very
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah, it was sad. I saw that with John, actually.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
All right, so
Welcome back, D.
welcome back, D.
Yeah, man. Hey guys, I'm back. I'm in the house.
He's back.
Okay, so I remember the question. Okay, so all right. So Mrs. Young, how was it going from, voicing somebody as sweet as Baba and Ariel to voicing, a huge bad guy like Frieza?
Well, actually, I voiced Frieza first
Mm.
because I wasn't Baba until after I had been, at Funimation and had been doing Frieza. I think they had some other people doing Baba, but it didn't work out or something. Yeah. So then they asked me if I'd try it.
Right.
And then it kind of stuck, and I've still been doing Baba, like during Super and everything.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We've heard
and
that.
A rally, they just said one time, we have this little girl's voice we want you to do. And I had done other little kids' voices before I came to Funimation. Mm-hmm. I did some children's shows and things like that. So I had done fun little characters. Mm-hmm. That's another reason I was surprised I got Frieza.
Yeah. And I appreciate you just saying her name correctly, Arali, because for the longest time, that's what I always called her. But then, I heard fans calling her Ariel, so I was just like, oh, well, maybe I've been saying it wrong all these years. But you know, we have Linda Young up here, and she just said
She's
that's how you say it.
That's
Yeah,
what we always call. That's what we call her.
Yeah, that's her name. So, another question, going back to Frieza. Now, how was it, you know, getting into that role? Because I know originally in the sub, the Japanese dub of Dragon Ball Z, Frieza, he's voiced by a man, and and then you were able to get the role. So like, how different was that? Like, were there any men that auditioned for the role as well, or like, was it just like, you know, we want men and women to audition for this role?
You know, I don't know. There probably were some men that auditioned for it at that time, but now a lady in the Ocean dub, it was a lady. Mm-hmm. So they probably wanted to have that similarity follow through. So fans wouldn't be recognized as much that they changed from Canada. But as far as playing that role, I had to learn to do certain fighting sounds and the yelling and screaming because that wasn't something I normally did.
Yeah, you were familiar with.
Yes, because it seems like guys are very familiar with doing the fighting noises, and you know, it seems like I remember John as a kid, he was always doing those kind of noises, but my daughter never did. So I kind of had to learn those, but I did. So,
were there ever any times when you were voicing Frieza that you lost your voice? Because I know that Sean, he tells the story about how when he went Super Saiyan 3, he passed out. Like, were there ever
he passed out.
Were there ever any moments like that for you?
I never passed out, and the only time I lost my voice, and it wasn't actually when I was doing the character. I came in one morning and my voice didn't feel right. And it was the morning. This is so far back that they had a newspaper reporter there, right? And he was going to do a story. He was going to do a story on Funimation and actors in the booth.
Of all the days.
Of all the days. That's the day I started to do Frieza, and it wasn't working. And of course, that's what he wrote about.
Oh, man.
No. Of course.
The one time I lose my voice, and it's in a paper somewhere.
Yeah.
It's still in the archives.
Yeah. Well, now that you mention it, I got this paper right here.
I thought you was about to pull it out, Trav.
Trav, get it out of the vault.
I couldn't find that paper. Oh, yeah. So anyway, that was the only time out of all those years. Yes.
I gotta ask, did you give him the Krillin? Did the guy go to leave and he just couldn't?
Help me! I should have. I should have.
No, going back.
Especially I should have tracked him down after he wrote that in the newspaper.
Yeah.
Now, were they freaking out at Funimation?
When?
About this newspaper report? Because I remember, back in those days when like newspaper reports were a thing, some people would like freak out and be like, we're finished before we even started type thing.
No, they weren't freaking out. No. Not that I know of.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I'm just not going to even read it.
Right.
Yeah.
But I did, of course.
Hey, that's the equivalent to now of, don't go through the comment section.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
But
going back to how you were talking about, like, they might have had some people for Bob on and just didn't work out. We hear that a lot from the early days of Funimation, where it's like, it was just really, really slim pickings because it was such a new thing and nobody was really trained for this sort of thing. Or people that would have been successful in like doing it weren't even interested. You said you almost
You're right.
You almost didn't even audition. You know what I mean? So
you are right. And you know what? And some people could not get the hang of the rhythm because you're dubbing. So you go in the booth by yourself and you hear like these beeps, like beep, beep, beep. And then you come in on the fourth beep.
Right.
And then you match the flaps of their mouth, you know, and when we first started, you really had to be pretty precise, and you still do, but they can kind of move things around now. But some people could not get the hang of that beep thing. You know, they just couldn't. Really good actors sometimes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We've heard about the beep thing before.
And
we've been told it's like how you just said. It's like if you can't keep up with, you know, the beep, it's just like they'll replace you with somebody else.
The beep.
Yeah. Yeah. I know, it's kind of strange, but it's true. The beeps come and then
you got to be on point with it.
Right.
So something that we always ask some of you know, the voice actors that we have up here are like, you know, who were some of the voice actors who, you know, influenced you to get into voice acting? Like, have you met any voice actors that have come to you and just like, you know, I listened to you growing up, like you're the reason why I got into voice acting? Like, do you have any stories like that to tell?
No, I mean, there's people that said I was their Frieza, and you know, there are actors, voice actors now, and well, even Chris Ayres says that I was his Frieza when he was, and now you know he's Frieza, but he said I was his Frieza. So that's because we're friends, and I'm friends with Damon. He's a Frieza, and also Mr. Nakayo, Japanese Frieza.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Which I believe Banks has that picture on the slideshow of you two.
Oh, did you see it go by?
And I'm the only lady.
That's right.
Hey, but that's awesome. I mean, it's the same with the voice actress who voices Goku and the Japanese dub. You know what I'm saying? She, like, I love her story because she voiced Goku when he was a kid, and she had said that she thought that they were going to replace her when Goku became an adult. But because she had did a tremendous job voicing Goku as a kid, it's just like they let her keep the role, and she's been doing it and knocking it out of the park.
That's great.
For a very long time.
30 years now.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, because you were voicing Frieza for all these years, and then Dragon Ball Z Kai comes out, and you didn't reprise the role of Frieza. Do you mind telling the story about that? Like, was that your choice on stepping away from voicing Frieza?
No. Actually, they said they decided they wanted to have a man do Frieza because it was something they really always visioned. And at first I was devastated, let me tell you.
Right.
Yeah.
And I had almost a mad reaction at first, a Frieza reaction.
Right. I mean,
it's like you want to pick somebody else.
I did almost have a Frieza reaction, and then a mad, and then a sad, and because Frieza was so much a part of me for so many years.
Absolutely.
And but then, you know, after I could think about it and stuff, and wasn't hurting so much, then I understood. I understood they liked Mr. Nakayo as a man for Frieza, and they kind of envisioned having a man, just going a different direction. And then, of course, knowing Chris Ayres, you know, how could I, when I know him not, I'm happy he was able to do it too.
Right.
And Damon, I love Damon. He's a sweet, sweet man. And so, you know, it's like we're all Friezas.
Yeah.
All Friezas together.
Now, to piggyback off of that, Banks, now with you and Trav being watchers of the show, how was the reaction to Miss Young not reprising it? Was there any comments about it or any news? Like,
well, I
remember back when Dragon Ball Z Kai was first announced, like that was one of the complaints from like a lot of fans was that Mrs. Young wasn't voicing Frieza. Because again, it's one of those things where it's just like we grew up you know, hearing her voice as Frieza, and it was changed. I mean, it is something, you know, it is something that you got, you know, accustomed to over time.
Of course.
But you know, at first it's just like, because it's like, yeah, that's my Frieza. You know what I'm saying? Just
yes.
like you was just saying, Mrs. Young, where it's just like, you know, people, they tell you like, you know, you're their Frieza. It's like, I often, and D can tell you this, like I often try to imitate your voice all the time.
Yeah, he calls me and does it all the time. So
yeah, so
I don't know if it's Banks calling or if it's Frieza. Be careful. You gotta be careful when I answer the phone. Yeah.
No, I think that
Trav?
I think that was just one of the many problems that people had originally. Now, me, I came around. Like, I was like, man, I ain't trying to watch this. But, you know, all due respect to Chris, I mean, he's phenomenal. You know, and I really don't think there's any sort of pinning actors against each other type of stuff going on. But, you know, I think that's a lot of fan stuff. Like, fans will egg it on more than anything. And I get it, because for us, being 90s kids, crucial ages of this particular character, you know. So it is hard to switch over. But I can't deny that he doesn't do a good job. He does a fantastic.
Yeah, he does a really good job. Yep.
Fantastic job. And you can see, like, if you watch interviews with him and stuff like that, he's just a great guy, goofy, enjoys what he's doing, you know.
He's very nice. You know, he's having problems again with he's back in the hospital right now.
Right. Yep. I saw that on Twitter.
Yeah. So we just need prayers for him, because he's a really good guy. You know, we did we told the story the night before Christmas with 5 Friezas.
What is this on?
It was on. I forget what.
Yeah, no, this
sounds
amazing.
Stephen Prince, you know, Derek Stephen Prince. He did a Frieza in LA, some special. Well, he has a show, and I can't remember the name of his show, but it was on that. And he was a Frieza, and I was, and Chris Ayers, and Damon, and the guy from Frieza Abridged. You know, I mean, Dragon Ball Z
Abridged.
Yeah,
Frieza
Team
from there. He was on there. And then Mr. Nakayo came on and said the very last line.
Wow, that's impressive.
That's awesome.
It was really fun. We had a fun time.
Oh,
yeah, that's definitely something that we have to look into.
Oh, yeah.
You have to.
I just Googled it and put it on my YouTube. So,
all right.
That'll be up there for me to watch later.
Hey, hit us with that link,
Make sure you drop the link, man. Make sure you drop the link.
Drop it right in the speed force.
Relax.
That's the special thing about voice acting, though, and specifically anime, is the community and how much love people have for you guys.
Yes.
I know it's like that with a lot of big actors too. Like, you know, there's a lot of fangirls, fanboys, or whatever. But I don't know, man. There's just something special about cons, and it's like wrestling. Because Banks, say it.
Yes.
Say it, Banks. What are you?
Professional wrestler.
I'm a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like that too with wrestling fans. They treat you different. They invest time into making you things and bringing you things, and
they do.
I think that's what people miss most about cons is those interactions.
Yeah. Because, you know, a big part of it, Trav, unless you're like in our age group and stuff, anybody younger and things like that, they probably aren't doing research and Googling people like crazy, and it's putting a face to a name, you know, and these are animated shows, so it's nice to put a face, you know, face to a voice, I guess, you know. And I think I mean, you especially, Miss Young, like Frieza was the iconic villain, you know, for us growing up. I can't think of anybody who's close to Frieza. So
we hated Frieza.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
after Frieza killed Krillin.
Yeah, I never played Pop Goes the Weasel after that. Yeah, I didn't even say that to my kids, you know.
I mean, and then you also got like the infamous, 5 minutes, and it lasted.
Oh, I know.
30 episodes or whatever. There's all these iconic things that came out of not the original Dragon Ball Z, but the original funny dub of it.
Yes.
And Frieza's definitely one of still today, the most iconic villain. I know Banks may say Dio from Jojo.
Definitely top 5.
Yeah, Dio's up there. Yeah.
So I'm talking about Frieza. Dio's not me and Trav or anybody else's top 5.
No, but Dio.
Tonight is Frieza's night, sir.
Tonight is Frieza's night.
Hey, but for real, like Frieza is my number one villain when it comes to top 10 anime villains, because Frieza, he eradicated an entire race.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like,
it's pretty
it doesn't get
top.
any bigger than that,
Yeah. Frieza's a bad boy.
Yeah.
So
funny though, kind of a good sense of humor.
Oh, great sense of humor.
Yeah, I think that's what made it so fun to
one-liners.
Yeah, the one-liners were great back then. Like I said, there's no villain back then, especially that could keep up with Frieza's one-liners.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I could identify with Frieza a lot, because I love humor, and I love one-liners and sarcasm.
Of course.
Well, Banks, before you ask your question, let me ask this real quick. Did you audition with that voice in mind?
Oh no, because I had to listen to the,
So, did you come up with this on your own, or did you guys come up with it together as like a group? Did you try different things, and that's what you ended up with, or?
I just came up with it from trying to imitate the Canadian actress.
Canadian one, yeah.
But with the script and stuff, I could put my own kind of inflections and stuff on the one-liners and the humor, and that was fun. And make him and make Frieza kind of like a spoiled brat,
right?
Yeah.
Good job.
That's how he came
that's exactly how he came off.
He wanted it.
Here's the best part to me. I never looked at Frieza as a guy or a girl. Like you said earlier, a thing.
The alien.
It was just like this alien thing.
Yep.
And I know that they have said, about backlash against, it being voiced by a woman versus a man and it being a man or anything like that. But I don't feel like anybody ever looked at it like that personally.
Oh.
So I don't know where that comes from.
I don't
Probably
know.
just certain fans who are just like, well, obviously Frieza is a man. So
it comes from somewhere, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's like, nobody I ever knew ever said anything. Never thought about it.
Yeah, you're right.
Guarantee if we get into a conversation with a group of people such as ourselves right now, nobody's gonna bring it. Nobody would bring it up.
Nobody brings that up.
No,
You're right.
It's not thought about.
Yeah.
I don't remember hearing it said way back when.
Nope.
No, it wasn't.
No, you just knew that he was evil. You just knew that this thing was evil.
Yep.
Yes.
The laugh. Yeah, exactly. So it's creepy, and when you're 8 watching this cartoon, because we didn't call it anime back then. It was like it was just cartoons on Toonami. And everybody went to school the next day and talked about it.
Yep, exactly what happened.
You know what? The funny thing is, though, sometimes I can be kind of laughing as myself, and all of a sudden I kind of sound like Frieza. And I'm like, oh my gosh, is that laugh really mine?
Oh man, did the light start to flicker in the house and stuff?
No, but you hear me sometimes I go, ha, ha. And I was watching. Someone sent me an audio, but with pictures of when I was in a play in high school called Fiddler on the Roof. And there was this one part where someone said to me, and I laughed, and I swear I went like this. I thought,
I've always laughed this way, I guess.
oh my God.
I don't want to skim past because I personally know Fiddler on the Roof. What else did you perform in then back then? When you were getting in the theater then?
Okay, let's see. Guys and Dolls.
Okay.
I played a character called Adelaide. And I was in Butterflies Are Free and Bus Stop and I can't think of all the musicals right now, but several musicals and several dramas. I was in one drama that was about Vietnam, and I can't remember the name of it. It was kind of serious, but it was a musical. Right. And talking about losing voices, I did the show the first night, and I was standing outside talking to a friend that came for a long time. The next day when I got up, I did not have a voice. And I had to sing 2 big songs in the play.
Wow.
And I was in the play, so I went to my ear, nose, and throat guy. And he said, "You don't have an infection." He said, your vocal cords are just covered. So he said, just take lemon water and honey, warm, and just keep rinsing. Because take it along to the show. Whenever you can, rinse with that. And I made it through the whole show. I sang every note, but it was weird. Yeah, I kept thinking my voice was going to go out.
That's a go-to for vocalists is the honey and lemon water.
Yeah, as long as there's no infection in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, was this called Miss Sagan?
No.
Play? No? Okay.
No, it was.
I tried to Google it and
I just can't
let
remember
people
the
know.
name of it. But you know who was in it with me? The lady that was in Gilmore Girls.
Hold on.
You know,
the main chick?
Yeah, the one with the dark.
The mother on Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, it's Lauren Graham.
Yes.
Yeah, she's in the new Mighty Ducks Game Changers show too.
Oh yeah.
So
Lauren Graham. Wow, really?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Look at that.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, it's a small world. You
Lauren
never know.
Graham.
Oh yeah.
So I wanted to, kind of move it along from Frieza and ask you some questions about voicing Genkai on Yu Yu Hakusho. Yu Yu Hakusho was another popular anime that came out in the early 2000s. And, how was it, transitioning from, voicing like such an evil character like Frieza to now voicing Genkai, who was pretty much one of the heroes on this show?
Yeah, it was fun. I loved it. And Genkai is probably really more like me,
Yeah.
Because sometimes I can think those sarcastic, tough things. I probably even have said them to my kids, but I was kind of a joker with them, and of course, if my son's with me, he'll say, "Oh yeah, she always did that stuff." But Genkai, they definitely wanted me to keep some hoarseness in my voice for Genkai. He wanted her to sound like a smoker,
Yeah.
So it was almost like bringing that hoarseness over to another character, but a much more. Well, they both had that same kind of humor when you think about it.
Yeah, the one-liners and all of that.
Yeah. But Genkai came from a place of love, really.
Right.
Yeah.
She really loved teaching her young students. She really cared about people that did right.
Right.
Yeah.
And Frieza just cared about himself. So
I've always looked at Baba and Genkai kind of similar.
Baba and Genkai?
But I always felt like they were very similar-ish characters.
Oh, Baba's still kind of rude.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
He's kind of a little.
No, yeah, Trav. I agree with you on that. Yeah, like they were kind of similar, but it's like Mrs. Young.
There's
said.
Baba right there.
But Baba's like, hey, Baba is my kid.
Yeah. Baba's a loon. She
gets stuck indoors and all.
Yeah.
I mean, well, you got to think about it. I mean, like she is Master Roshi's sister, and,
right? Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, being his sister, I mean, I'm sure Roshi drove her insane when they were coming up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like it's cool with Yu Yu Hakusho. I know before we started recording, we were talking about how there's kind of a resurgence with Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yes.
And, you know, it's just one of those things where because it's number 3 in my top 5 anime, and it kind of sucks sometimes because like I feel like Yu Yu Hakusho, it doesn't get the love that it should get because it's just as popular as Dragon Ball Z. Like the characters up there, it's like you love them, you hate some of the characters, and I want more Genkai figures out there. Like there's no Genkai.
And I like the story too. The stories in Yu Yu Hakusho. And,
so let me ask you this: who between Genkai and Frieza, like which one do you like more?
I probably like Genkai more. I mean, as a character, of course, I like her more because I relate to her more. But it was really fun voicing Frieza too, and as I've said before, it was like therapy because if you're upset about anything or angry about anything, by the time you came out of the booth, you're fine. It's so funny though. Some actors say when they do an angry character, they come out angry.
Right.
Oh wow.
But when I do an angry character, I come out like,
Yeah.
I don't have any stress.
Wow, you had the most angry character.
Oh yeah.
So
So I get all my anger out. I was actually going through a nasty divorce, and or had just been through one, and I was still going through it. And Chris Sabat said to me, because he found out he goes, "Can you pretend like when you're fighting, it's your ex-husband, and you'll be meaner?" Because they wanted me to be meaner. So once he said that, I was like,
I'm pretty sure that worked.
Yeah, and also Frieza was meaner. Yep. So,
no, because I know when Michael Jackson had passed away, Janet Jackson, she was in a movie called Why Did I Get Married Too? And there was this one scene where she just pretty much destroyed everything in the house. And Tyler Perry was just like, we know that you just lost your brother, so just take out everything.
Yes.
Scene. So, I mean, it makes sense. Like,
it does.
Where Chris was just like, hey, imagine this is your ex, and take everything out on him because it does release. It does. Yeah,
it works. Yep.
So
it was therapy, and I got paid.
That's the best part.
Right. So, how was it working with your son on 2 big projects? He voiced Ken on Dragon Ball, and then he voiced Kurama in Yu Yu Hakusho.
Another legendary character.
Are y'all also the first mother and son duo when it comes to voice acting in anime?
Yeah, I think so.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I can't even name another one.
No.
What about siblings?
Well, siblings at Funimation happens a lot. I mean, maybe not necessarily voice acting, but Christopher Sabat's brother works there. Colleen Clickenberg, her sister, works there.
Yeah.
So they do have stuff like that. But as far as voice actors go, I can't think of anybody else except for this combination.
The original duo. Got it.
The original duo.
Yeah, really.
And I never even thought about that.
We there's a Yu Yu Hakusho group that we ended up, signing and selling some prints to, and I had this special print that was with Kurama and Genkai.
Nice.
And so John signed it and I signed it, and they just really loved that.
Oh my God.
I finally sent them all out today.
Nice.
But, yeah. And so we're thinking maybe even at KamehaCon we might have a print like that where we can each sign, and people can get a little deal, get both our signatures.
Now, were y'all doing this through like Streamly or something?
Oh no, but I am going to be on Streamly, and so is John. On May 30th. Yeah.
And what do y'all do? Is it the double print together?
There is one of those on Streamly. Yes, there is.
That seems to be a thing right now with doing the prints together, because our friend Danny Kramer, who's a voice actor on Pokemon, he's doing a lot of double prints with other gym leaders. So they're like tag teaming up and doing these prints together. So, and it just seems to be a thing right now is the double prints with two different people, but they have a connection of some sort.
I'm just with it and I didn't even know it.
Yeah, hey, yeah, exactly.
Yep. So I had another question when it comes to voice acting, because like I said, we knew that you voiced Frieza on Dragon Ball, and then you did Genkai on Yu Yu Hakusho, and it just kind of seemed like after those roles, it's like you weren't really in the bigger roles like you had been. Was that a choice on your part, where it's just like you just wanted to slow down on some of the voice acting gigs, or were you doing other stuff in life, other adventures and whatnot?
Well, I don't know. For a while, I just started doing some of the smaller characters, and I was gone for a while because I was taking care of my parents in Wisconsin, and I probably wasn't as gung-ho as a lot of people. I don't know.
Right.
But I still wanted to work there, and I still got a lot of different smaller characters. And I'd still like to work there, but I haven't since the pandemic, because everything just went. And I don't have a home studio.
Yeah.
So, but hopefully I'll start working again. And I don't mind doing the smaller characters. I enjoy it, like Poorly Yusuka, and I've done a lot of fun little smaller characters in different shows that have really funny attitudes or something weird about them, or sometimes someone just really sweet, but usually kind of a wacky character.
Yeah, no, the list is really long of, some of the additional voices or random characters you've been doing. And it just seems like, you did this and now you're doing this, and not a whole lot of people get to do both in their careers. True. It's like, I've never seen the because I consider you like the up there, like the top, Christopher Sabat and all them, but you ain't gonna find Christopher Sabat, I think, doing smaller stuff. But what we hear from a lot of people is that they actually really, really enjoy that stuff.
I do. I liked going into the studio and not even knowing what I was going to do.
Right. Yeah.
So they just tell you what you're going to do, and then it's kind of fun. It's kind of like an adventure, What kind of voice are they going to have me do? So
how, if you don't mind me asking, how's life been for you during this whole pandemic? You don't have a home studio like you said, so really what's been on like your hobby list? Or
that was kind of depressing. Actually, my husband was supposed to help me get one set up, but that never happened.
I heard it's
typical husbands.
Things up.
Typical husbands, though.
Hey, take it easy, Trav.
Yeah, Trav, relax.
But I've been doing a lot of podcasts and signings, like online signings, and our big band started back up, and my smaller group started back up. So we have gigs.
Nice.
And I've now started to doing some in-person smaller signings, like at comic stores and stuff like that.
Nice. That's awesome.
But for some reason, there was like things going on a lot during the pandemic. Like I had, Cameo. I'm on Cameo too.
Okay.
So I do cameos. And those are really fun because people ask you to wish a happy birthday in Frieza's voice, or cheer someone up as Frieza, which Frieza's not. That's not really Frieza's thing, but so I have to be creative. Right. Or Genkai gives someone a pep talk. Or,
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's really sweet. A lot of fun. I really enjoy that. So, in fact, I've got one to do after this, but it's fun. It's like you get to write something, and then act it out.
That's
what. That kept me doing things.
I'm glad that you had said what you were doing, because like that's something that here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks, we love for the voice actors and actresses to let the fans know what they do behind the voice. And like I think that's awesome that you sing. Like I actually saw one of your videos on Twitter, and you have such an amazing singing voice.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome. And like that's cool that's something that that you love. I mean, it goes all the way back to when you were younger and you were doing theater and stuff like that. So it's cool that you're doing like all of the stuff with Cameo and everything. And I know that you mentioned that you have 3 dogs. And what type of dogs are they, and what are their names?
Golden Retriever, and that's Baron, and a little guy that's part Dachshund and part Manchester Terrier. He's tiny, and he's tiny because when he started following us home and started hanging around, I just started calling him Tiny. Mm-hmm. Then my other one that's part Husky, part Lab, part some kind of Terrier is Buddy, because I saw him in the middle of the road and I said, "Hey, little buddy, what are you doing in the middle of the road? You need to go home." Oh, man. So I was late at night. In fact, it was my son's birthday, and it was late at night. I was coming home, and I called my husband. I said, "There's this cute little puppy in the street." And here's Tom. He's very macho, maybe. He said, "Don't you get out of that car. There could be someone hiding to get you." And I'm like,
wow,
that's true.
I really didn't think. I know it is true. It could be, but I didn't.
Seems like an urban legend kind of thing.
Yeah. So I didn't. So the next day he's going to work or something, and he calls me. He says, "Was that little puppy brown and white?" I said, "Tan and white." He goes, "Well, I think he's still here." So he brought him home. A complete
soft side.
He was a complete terror. I call him a terrier. A terrierist. He wouldn't stand still. He was like a blur. He was running through the house, fighting with his little teeth. All this, and it was like, oh my gosh. And we were like, now we know why we both found him, so we couldn't blame the other person.
Right.
But he turned out to be such a good dog. In fact, when we took him to the vet said, "Why don't you keep him? He has this great, personality and disposition." And we both looked at each other like, oh. But then he learned the rules. He was so good. I called him my little Catholic boy.
Nice.
Oh, jeez.
Yep. So, and he does Frieza face. I taught him monster face, but now I call it Frieza face. I just go monster face, and he makes this.
Nice. Oh,
nice.
Man.
So he's my Frieza.
Are there any, what are some of your favorite programs that you enjoy watching on TV? Or are there any animes out that you watch right now that you really enjoy?
I don't really watch anime,
Yeah.
Once in a while on YouTube a little bit, but I don't watch that much TV. But I like some reality shows like Survivor, and I like Hell's Kitchen.
Hell's Kitchen.
Gordon Ramsay.
Good old Ramsay.
Uh-huh.
In fact, I saw something on YouTube, Gordon Ramsay versus Frieza. What would happen?
Oh,
geez. I just remember there was a clip that I saw of Gordon Ramsay. There was an episode, I think it was Hell's Kitchen, or it was I think he had like a show where he went into restaurants. I can't remember. Was that Hell's Kitchen?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, there was these people, and they were using the microwave, and they called him Chef Mike. And then at the end of it, he threw him out. He threw the microwave out. And when they said Chef Mike's retired, I was like, I was laughing for a long time about that.
I know he's funny. Yeah, I watched that show too. I can't remember the name of that, but I was watching that one too.
Yeah. Do you watch Bar Rescue?
I was about to bring up Bar Rescue.
Oh yeah,
too.
That's a good one.
I haven't watched it. I think my husband's watched that one.
Yeah, I think you would like that.
I need to watch that one.
It's the same premise. John Taffer, man, he's ruthless.
Oh yeah, no
going
question.
In different bars, screaming at people.
Yeah,
and then he helps them clean up their act.
Yeah,
something that I love that Gordon Ramsay does is like people will send him YouTube videos and TikToks, and he'll rate somebody's meal.
Yeah, I've seen those before.
And like those are funny too. And it's just the reactions. Like he's very animated.
Yep.
He's very animated. And then he had that show with the young chefs. You know?
My daughter watched that Master Chef.
He's nice
Master
to them.
Chef for kids.
And he's so sweet
Yep.
on that show.
Well,
Yep.
You've seen him on like talk shows and stuff. I don't think he's that much of a prick in real life.
Oh, no.
I think it's definitely done up for the show.
Of course.
Definitely.
But I don't blame him for some of the stuff he says because there's some nasty stuff going on in these restaurants.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh,
watching that, you don't want to go eat.
You don't want to go eat anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. That's how bar rescue is. It's like they go to the bars and
they got cockroaches in the bottles.
Fruit flies and all that stuff. And it's just like like they're not using gloves when they take stuff out of the microwave. They're touching food with their bare hands. Yeah, it's very nasty. Somebody else that's like that is Simon Cowell. Like on American Idol. It's just like I hate this guy, but then we see him in interviews. He's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they like to be the villain.
Yeah.
The villain sells.
I was about to say I don't think the shows would be that interesting if they were nice on them. You know, to be quite fair.
Yeah.
So. No.
So Mrs. Young, I have one more question for you. Then I don't know if you got Trav, D. Do y'all have any more questions?
Oh, I got one more.
Okay, all right.
I've been saving this one too.
Okay.
So, Mrs. Young, if when you do get back into voice acting and whatnot, are there any animes that you've been recommended to lend your voice to?
No, I haven't yet. I mean, I've had some little projects and things, but no. Yeah, so I have no idea what's going to happen. We'll see.
Yeah, because I would love to hear you in My Hero Academia. I know that you did some work on Attack on Titan. Like, that's another good one.
Yeah.
And of course, it's like they already know what I'm about to say. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I would love to hear your voice.
That's what you waited all this time to ask that?
Uh-huh.
Yes, he did.
Come on, Trav.
I mean, I want to do more voice work. But with this pandemic and stuff, I as soon as they start going to the studio more, which they're starting to go into a little now, I think I'm just going to let them know that I'd really like to come back and do some things.
Yeah. Definitely, you should.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Like I said, we would love to hear you, like, especially like in some of the big roles too. Like, there's nothing wrong with doing the smaller roles, but it would be cool to hear your voice doing like a bigger character or something like that again.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Yeah, that would be fun. I wouldn't mind that.
Yep.
D?
Yep. Is it my turn? Am I up?
Yes, right.
Here we go.
Okay.
Shot to Jay.
Is it a tough one?
Yeah. No. Well, maybe when you said you don't watch a lot of TV and things like that now, but when you were coming up, Miss Young, was there anything that you watched, scary movies that really creeped you out, or TV shows? What was something that creeped you out, or really stuck with you? I'll say.
Okay. Well, on Friday nights, our parents let us stay up late.
Nice.
And they always had this scary movie nights. And they were always like the old scary movies, like old monster movies.
Yep.
There was one called The Screaming Skull. And it just scared me. And also one called The Hand.
I know that. I know the hand. I know the hand.
And got the ear.
That one creeped me out too.
Nice.
Well, remember, there's an episode of Angry Beavers where they were watching The Hand.
They were watching The Hand
on Angry Beavers.
So The Hand is, the Hand was scary. And let me think if there's anything else that as a kid really scared me. I didn't get as scared of scary movies as my friends did. I remember one of my friends' brother would get so scared he couldn't watch it, and I go, You can see the zipper on the back of the costume.
You can see it in those older movies. Yep.
Oh yeah, it seems like you were destined to play Frieza. Apparently.
But I used to like watching the old Japanese movie. You know the movies that were dubbed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Me personally, I have a collection of old kung fu movies and stuff like that. So. Yeah. I was just curious. I love to ask that question just to see, you know. Yeah,
okay,
we just
and the dark scared me kind of.
Oh,
even in the dark, it still does.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of eerie, you know, when you're just there. It can be, especially on rainy nights.
I remember when I was a little kid. You know, if you're talking about being a kid,
mm-hmm.
we had this record player, and it was covered with this big wooden thing.
Mm.
And I was always thinking it was changing into a monster.
Oh,
that's like those cuckoo clocks from back in the day. Those
are the grandfather
super creepy.
Grandfather clocks. I can kind of deal with because nothing pops out of them.
You're right.
Cuckoo.
But there's something about that cuckoo. And
could you imagine going by the cuckoo and it just happened to be that time?
And they hit you in the face?
Or just spook you? Not take you out, Banks. Just spook you.
Not take you out.
Yeah, right.
Banks,
in the temple.
Banks, we know Banks would book it.
Yeah. Oh, we already know you book it.
My aunt did have the cuckoo clock.
Oh,
right.
Oh man. And then what was the other one? The cat, where it's just like the eyes would go side to side.
Oh yeah, those things are still creepy.
Yeah.
Which ones?
The cat.
The cat.
The Chinese cat.
Eyes.
Yeah. The clock.
Okay.
Yeah.
The eyes like follow.
Oh yeah, those are creepy.
Yeah,
those are very creepy.
I love
and they also had the cuckoo clock, but where it was dancers came up.
I remember that too. Yeah, I remember
the little
that
dance. They were kind of weird. In the dark.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, Mrs. Young,
what a way to end it.
We appreciate you joining us.
I had fun.
Yeah, thank you. We had fun too. Thank you.
You want me to say anything as Frieza?
No.
If you want to close us out, I mean, you can go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead and call Benjamin a monkey.
Hey,
you dirty monkey.
Okay. Benjamin, you're just a dirty monkey.
With the laugh and all.
Yes.
Thank you. Oh my God. That was
awesome, is making childhood dreams come true.
I know. I'm about to go. And all I need you to do now is just lift D up and.
Oh wait, easy. Pop goes the rebel. Okay. Oh man.
But yeah, Mrs. Young, thank you so much for joining us.
Before we let you go, so much.
Let everybody in social media land know where they can find you at.
Okay, well, I always have to look because I can never remember. This time I wrote it down.
Nice.
So if you want a cameo, just go to Cameo and just look up Linda Young. It's very simple.
Yep.
And then I'm going to be with that Streamily, as you were talking about, on May 30th. And you can look on Streamily Live. On the best place is probably on Twitter. And they have a store. And then at Twitter, I'm at Linda Young VA. And Instagram, I'm Linda Sorta, like at Linda SRTA, because I'm also in a group called the Sorta Sisters.
Nice.
So, yeah. And then Facebook, well, that's just my regular Linda Young. That's kind of just my regular self.
Well, yeah, Mrs. Young, thank you so much. And D, let everybody know where they can find you at in social media land.
First, Miss Young, take this. That's for you. And thanks for leveling up with us today. And you can find me at rebellious_D23 at Instagram.com. Trav?
That's right. And I just want to piggyback off of that and say, I've been smiling all day waiting for this. And hey, dreams come true. And if you would have told 8-year-old Trav that this was going to happen, wouldn't believe you.
Nope.
So we really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
But yep, that's right. You can find me, your boy Trav, at Instagram at ZK Audio, and you can find me on the Twitter at TRAVIOSZK. And of course, we got Frieza with us. We gonna need a hero. Where can they find one at?
You can find me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, at KingBenji_Banks on Twitter and Instagram. And you can look me up on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. Thank you for watching our new episode. And like I always say, keep that pinky up and stay positive. We'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Peace.
Thanks again, everybody, for watching another episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the channel. Podcast, we got that too. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and hit that bell for further episodes and notifications. Thanks a lot to our patrons. And if you don't mind, join the Patreon. We'll be having new specials coming up soon.